A wild pack of ambulance outside, here in the concrete jungle of Washington, D.C. This is where it goes down. Let me hydrate first before we get the ball rolling. That's beautiful. Nice and hot water, exactly how I wanted it. Should have thought about that before I turned the faucet on. Boom! Peace and love, kings, queens, and gods. Now we're ready to get started. My name is Jarek the Floating Yogi, and tonight is the Floating Yoga Fundamentals Book Club. Yeah, we are reading The Only Way Out Is In. We are in the final few chapters of the book when we're getting into Tantra. I know there's a whole bunch of controversy about what Tantra really is, so we'll get into that in a second. Before we do, however, I would like to thank our sponsors. Boom, UE, Urban Yogic Wellness and Education. We're restructuring how we see health and wellness in the community, bringing the power of growth and healing back into our own hands. So then, we can start self-directing our life, becoming the conscious creators of this universe. Outside of that, I'd also like to thank Surreal Audio Solutions, In Crowd, for all of the promo videos, for all of the for the signage, the pushing the songs, the soundtracks, the meditation that we're doing. That's all tied into the Tumblr thing that we did this morning. We're gonna be back on one of these Fridays, so stay tuned. Especially this Sunday at 3. We got a self-care session, breathworks coming up, whole bunch of fun stuff. Outside of that, I'd like to thank A Quest for Knowledge, because this shirt's fire, right? The Godly Gear be rocking. You'll be able to check it out on my website soon enough, and as well as all the other fun stuff coming out. All right, let's get to the schedule. So Monday night we have the book club. Boom, that's what we're doing. We're reading this. We're almost through, and we have the next book lined up. I already dropped a bar about that last Thursday. You can go back and check. Then Tuesday night, those 8 limbs of yoga. Yeah, that Ashtanga. We're doing that. That's happening. It's a flow class. Again, donations are welcome and appreciated, but if you're there, efforts are mandatory. It's because we got to work. We got to, bust through whatever barriers, whatever limitations and blockages that we have in our way so we can keep moving forward towards our goal. Then there's Thursday, midday mind right. We're going to take about 30 minutes to just get our mind right. I mean, it'd be a rack of shit to be going on in a week. Sometimes we just need a moment to sit down and shut up and let it process so we can move forward again in that conscious creator, that observer in directing your own reality in your own life. Then there is Saturday. Saturday is 10:30, another float and flow. We're going to take all the wild stuff that we worked on, cram it together in one session, boom, and give it to you. 75 minutes of shenanigans. It's here for you. Bring that ass. Lastly, we have Sundays, which is Elevated Sift and Flow, where we're going to sift, we're going to flow, we're going to grow, get the mind right, get the body right, learn a little bit, and integrate some of these things. And also, if you like to smoke as much as me, well, damn it, this is the spot for you. Bring that ass. Tickets on my website. Also, tickets to sign up and be part of the discussion. Get your questions answered and maybe have some dialogue. Let's go back and forth and figure out and chop it up and figure out where we actually stand, how we can learn from each other and move forward. Boom. That's all the stuff. Whew. Now we're back. Yoga, Tantra. We are on for Tantra today. In this book, I mentioned before that Tantra is just so wildly misrepresented in America, and I understand it. There's so many ways that you can repurpose the practices of yoga, or the visual representation that we have of yoga, and kind of take out all of the principles and all of the meat and potatoes of it, like what they did with yoga, and then just give you like the stretch, breathe, you feel good, oh, sex, oh, orgasm, oh, this is the body, oh, I love it, sensual pleasures, oh, but people said don't be that free with yourself. Yeah, all this, it's gonna get chopped up in here. So, if you have the book, please join me on page I'm going to say 215. It don't have a number. I'm going to say 217. Introduction 18. Well, chapter 18. The Only Way Out is In. If you'd like to join the Zoom room, please feel free to just hop on the link on my website, thefloatingyogi.com. We're going to get this thing rocking for you, and we're going to get this thing flowing. All right. Introduction to Tantra. The path to the divine ecstasy. There were these 2 monks transcribing a copy of an ancient manuscript. One of the monks suggested that they get the actual text to make sure that what they were transcribing was accurate. He thought he would go down into the basement of the monastery where the originals were stored and retrieve it. After some time, the other monk began to wonder what happened, since he's been waiting for his brother to return. He went down to find out, and what he heard and saw shocked him. The other monk was standing against the wall, wailing uncontrollably and banging his head against it. "Why are you banging your head?" the monk said excitedly. The other monk turned and pointed to an original text which lay nearby. "Look," he cried, "it says here, celebrate, not celibate." Bum, 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 and the plot thickens. So a lot of people who were, when we were in the yamas and niyamas section talking about brahmacharya, when they were like, no, brahmacharya is celibacy, it's not sexual restraint, you have to be abstinent. All right, those people, well, don't take things in American language as like fact off bucks just because we say it's translated. Sometimes we translate words and get like 3 different meanings for the same word. Some words, there's like numerous words in Sanskrit, the Indian language that, like the ancient Indian language that a lot of the yoga is pronounced in, like Shira Namaskara, like Virabhadrasana. These names and titles, these people come from that lineage. And they don't even have, they have words like Akash, which we call space. Akash is like the fabric that life is printed on. The closest word we use is space, and we know we have a word for ether. Space means that the space between me and this camera is void of substance, void of any material, but it's something there, right? So there's already an inaccurate representation of what this word is. The next one that we use is ether, which, you know, is still roughly translated as like a plasma-y substance. It still doesn't describe what Akash is, because Akash has a little bit more of a spiritual meaning to it, more so like, I don't like to use the word spiritual, so let me X that out. It has a deeper meaning more to it than just what is the physical matter of it. It talks about what is the essence of it. This is like the life. This is like a life energy, life fabric. The fabric life is drawn on. It gives us different imagery, different ways to see this concept. However, it's hard to explain this because we don't even have words in it. So now think about how dumb I sound trying to explain it to you. Right? My point exactly. Continuing. This seems to be a joke, but I bet most monks would be banging their head against the wall if I say the Dalai Lama discovered this text and exposed its folly. Celebration or celibacy? Which one sounds more spiritual to you? I have a feeling that most people would say celibacy. No, not this guy. No, I do not agree with that. This is because people have an image of what's spiritual tied up in smoke screens of religion. We tend to glorify the aesthetic practices for their amazing feats of self-control and condemn those that are sincerely ecstatic and enjoying life to the max. I'm not talking about the hedonistic person that is merely in it to get off on whatever rush presents itself. One way or another, we all have been duped. For most of us, even as we enjoy ourselves, there is always a little hint of guilt around it. But it's okay to celebrate or have fun without the reason behind it. We have been lied to about our most precious energy, sex. It is emphasized in Tantra since the ancient tantric yogis realized that it's our most vital energy. This is the source of how we celebrate our lives or repress them. When you understand it for what it is rather than deny its presence, only then can you go beyond it. If not, you repress the very essence of who you are, your very life force. There's some more stuff here. It's like a whole tetrahedron fun thing that breaks down like sex, love, the union of sex, love, and prayer. Anyway, it's on page 218 if you're reading it. Another thing about sex, just like we were mentioning, that word has been so, I feel like even that chakra has been misrepresented. Instead of calling it, I actually had a talk about this with what's her name, Crystal Tantric Yogi. Yeah, we were vibing for about an hour speaking on the concept, and I was saying the same thing. I had a few other guys like back me up because of the connotation that comes behind it. But I mentioned, instead of calling it like a sex chakra, which kind of like limits it down and demeans it down to that one thing. Oh, this is just sex. Creation energy. What am I doing? What am I creating with this energy? And there's so much more that can come from that. Like, you can create the base energy to create your dreams and bring them into this 3D, 4D reality. That's the energy we use to move forward, to get up, to help somebody, to get up, to help ourselves, to brush our teeth. It's that type of motivation energy. That creation energy. So demeaning it, like belittling it, that's the word I wanted to say, belittling it to sexual energy, it just goes over our head, the vast options that this energy can be used for. Alright, alright, past and present views of sexuality. We're on chapter 19 on page 221. Past views. As a society, we have gotten lost in the maze of sexuality. Look at how almost everything sold today is through a sexual innuendo or by advertising venues all around the world. Sexual material generates the highest revenues among everything sold on the internet. On the other hand, Tantra, when approached reverently, guides you on how to transform your sexuality into a divine pathway. And yeah, sex sells. Facts. That's why I'm not doing that. That's why I'm not booming with like 1 million followers right now. I'm gonna let y'all think on that and marinate. Support the people doing it for the people. Therefore, in order to fully embrace your science of Tantra, it's important to look at what has shaped our view of sexuality in society up until now. The Tantrikas of the past, the yogis of Tantra, knew that playing with this energy was like playing with fire. Tantra explores what some regions call the dangerous energies. Yoga also says to be cautious, as sex will supposedly bring you down. It is important to note that yoga tends to be exclusive in its approach, Tantra inclusive. Yet in reality, the end outcome is the same: liberation. If you do not understand sex, it will pull you down. But on the other hand, if you know how to use it, it can lift you up. Fire can burn or transform you. This is another one of those misrepresentations of what Tantra is, because fire can do exactly that. It can lift you up or it can burn you. It can cook your food or it can cook you. How do you use it? What's the application? And the efficiency of it too. We can get a little bit deeper into that, but these are just like little leeways of how you can dive deep. Diving deep. All right. And also the understanding of sex, because when we feel these energies, like so my baby girl just popped into this world, right? So when she, if she sees a guy, a little boy later down the road, I'm not gonna say, oh, she likes boys, or oh, she's gonna get all the dudes. No, if she's excited, I'm gonna call it excitement, because it's a very different perspective that I'm sharing with my child, instead of trying to over-sexualize someone who don't really know what that is. Why incorporate this stigma for what their body is, or what their body can be used for? Some of the options, or one of the options. Anyway, I slightly didn't digress, but you following me. All right. The misinterpretation of Tantra has come from moralists of all religious sects. Even the Brahmin priests of yoga warn us of the nature of sex in a negative way. Hence the practice of brahmacharya. The word brahmacharya is, as I stated before, can be translated as celibacy, yet its actual meaning is to go in the direction of Brahman, or God. The definition of Tantra is to accept existence as it is, not negative or positive, no duality, but go beyond it all. Everything can be used as a force which allows you to ascend, if you know how to apply it. So Tantra is so powerful because a lot of the other practices of like yoga and Ayurveda kind of... Don't quote me on this, because quote me on this, because I already know some fake heat can come from this. But the other ones are a little bit more dualistic. Like, this is right, this is wrong, proper alignment, this is out of alignment. And Tantra is like, no, all that's good, just do it, and then we're just gonna make baby steps to adjust from there. That's Tantra. That's the inclusivity, as opposed to if you're not right, you're wrong. And that would be like yoga and Ayurveda in a sense. Again, bring the questions. I'm here for the questions. If you're trying to throw some heat, just stay off my line. I'm gonna ignore you. Ain't nobody got time for that. But if you want some knowledge, let's talk. I love learning. Please drop some gems. Okay, if all was created by God, how can anything be evil? This is the point of the whole concept of brahmacharya. Is it celibacy or just restraint? Just don't do it too much and figure out what works for you so your life ain't out of whack. The original religious meaning for sin was that which takes you away from going within. Simply put, anything on the outside that lures you away from your center of being is a sin, and that which guides you in is virtuous. If sex takes you out because you don't understand it, then it's evil. Using this interpretation for sin makes it pretty easy barometer to determine what to do and how to avoid, what to do and what to avoid in your life and living. You can just go back to them niyamas, those yamas and niyamas. Then, as I said in the Prim's Rules, page 127, there is no need for the guidelines of the yamas and niyamas, moral code and ethics of yoga or Ayurveda dietary rules and lifestyles. You live it from your whole being. So he's not saying like there are no rules, like don't do anything you want, Joker, chaos, anarchy. No, he's not saying anarchy. He's saying, all right, well, once you're living your true authentic self, it's no need for these things because you know what feels right and you're going by your feelings. You're in tune with yourself. You're already gone in, and now you're bringing what you found on that inward journey out to this 3D, 4D world. Like, you know, transforming lead to gold, the light in the prism coming out the rainbow colors, all the chakras, all those other correlations that we'll talk about. Boop, boop, boop. What up, doe? Who's in the chat, yo? Let me know. Where are we? Right here. You live it from your whole being, knowing what resonates or not for you. If people lived in societies with this kind of clarity, there would be no need for laws or the police to uphold them. There would be no need to listen to what someone else is saying about something when you're connected within yourself. We've all gotten so far from our center, our inner wisdom has become clouded. So we are in need for some direction. The only problem is who to trust. People in power that want kind of control. If you're feeling unsure, you'll look to others for answers. Go within and you'll find out for yourself which is wise and which is not. That is the only way to confirm anything. All of the formal religions and cultures are responsible for keeping a lid on the most precious essence, sex. Guilt and shame are their knives that they cut across our roots, making us feel insecure and dependent on the outside. Over and over again, we cannot get past this guilt feeling without feeling wrong because the programming is so strong. This is why the emphasis on sex and Tantra is the medicine for the modern age. Transforming this energy from sex, the base, into love at the heart, and then finally into prayer resides at the top of the head. That's the Sahasrara, the crown chakra. This is the divine pathway and expression as a human being. Denying its essential truth, we deny life itself. And if you caught up last Thursday we were going over the 3 centers and we did a meditation through Osho, the next book that we're going to be reading once we finish this up. He was talking about the navel center, and you know, my baby girl just got here, so I could correlate a lot to that. And the mention was that babies do belly breathing mainly, like the Buddha breath, and that's what I've been observing. It's been a whole bunch of that. And I've been watching how she'll like squirm and move when she's like laying on her back, laying on her belly, especially about to shit. And then I'll see like a little bit more space lift up higher. And then she'll start to breathe there for a minute. It'll only stay there for like maybe 1 to 4 breaths, and then shoo, right back down to the belly breathing. So these are just some interesting things that I was just, you know, being aware of, like, oh, wow, okay. So this is how it connects. Also, some other fun stuff in Eastern Body, Western Mind, correlating like how in the book she reads the different ages as we ascend through the chakras and the different times that we do it, because it's like 3 ascensions. We have to travel up the Sushumna, the Pingala, and the Ida, the Sushumna, and the Pingala, and the spinal cord. You know, the Caduceus. You can check on last week's book club when we went into the Caduceus and the breath work. What else are we? All right, we're all in the same boat. We're all in the same boat as our friends, the monks. Deep down in this feeling that sex is somehow the root of all evil, or shall we say that, or should we save that one for money? I mean, nah, maybe money more than sex. Money can buy sex, so money can buy problems. Anyway, I digress. Money, as we know it, has also been proposed to be unspiritual. I do not agree that money is unspiritual. I believe that unspiritual people do not value it. When you have your own community and your own community supports you and pulls together, you have a very different appreciation and understanding of the people around you and what a dollar is. Very different understanding. Yo, yo, yo. Uh-oh. I see you vibing with me. Let me see what you talk about. Can you pin what book this is? What's up, Shay? Yes, The Only Way Out is in. Get there in a second. This is why I need to have a team. This is why I gotta have a team. I could do it for me, but then I can make someone, hey, can you just in the chat? Yeah, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. This is how I get the team. Let's do it. Put me in front of some sponsors. Yeah, let's do it. We already got UE. We got more on the way. Back to the book. All right. Modern day views. So the last one was past views on sexuality. This one is modern day views. There is a feeling of brotherhood among men, an authentic experience of love which exists outside sex. I remember back in the early 90s, a wave of men's groups were emerging that I participated in. It was a valuable experience to see how we as men have lost touch with our true manhood. This bond is an important one in the development of a healthy man. In this day and age, we have lost contact with this initiation into manhood and our feeling together as men. Now, as it is predominantly a competition that breeds violence in all the gladiator-like sports, American football, rugby, ice hockey, boxing, and most of the business world. Look for the extent it has gotten out of control with the many wars taking place all over the planet. Along with the rampant pollution that pollutes our air, our water, and soil, we are faced today with a global suicide. This confusion has been built into the society as hatred and superiority based on fear. Now it is magnifying into a worldwide paranoia of terrorism. Sex again is at the root. There is no way we would act like this unless we were brainwashed to be at the odds with the other men from the aggression built up over sexual repression. Remember John Lennon and the hippies in the 60s saying, "Make love, not war"? There is a convoluted energy that makes us feel uneasy. This in turn allows the people of power who know we are frustrated, divert our energy and channeled it into fear, then hate. In repressing our energy, then they channel it into a cause that serves them. Granted, if we did not have the outlets like the aggressive sports, the earth would have already been completely destroyed. Now, no, I see that. No, that's real. Like, if we didn't have, like, the gladiator sports, they said that they kill themselves anyway. Like, come on now. They didn't say this for no reason. If we continue observing ourselves, if we continue abusing ourselves, mass destruction is likely because the tension is getting too high. If we had a feeling of love in our hearts, how could there ever be war? Here's a quote that Einstein said: "Any intelligent fool can make things bigger, more complex, more violent. It takes a touch of genius and a lot of courage to be on the opposite direction. I know not with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones." World War III, the internet. Psychological warfare. It's the internet. 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. Fear, low self-value, low self-worth. And then you're in a space of, oh, I'm not good enough to do anything. I don't have anyone who supports me. I'm not close to anyone. Nobody is in my corner. And then it's like, oh, no. Bust that shit open. Bust the door down. Keep it moving. If women, on the other hand, had the power to run the world, he goes on a little tangent here. I don't necessarily agree. I feel like it needs to be a mutual balance. He's saying that the world would be all beautiful if women run the world. I feel like, we just need to balance each other out. We're, one of two for a reason. Or three or four, however you like it to go. Whatever floats your boat or finds your lost remote. I know I get excited when I found mine. Ooh, the clicker. Let's see. Here's one quote. So I'm skipping through a lot of that. He said, he has 2 daughters. He said, I told one of them regarding men and women. I told them first, embrace who they are as women and not to pretend to be men and get caught up in the competitive world of men. Yes, participate, but keep your sense of femininity as you move through the world doing whatever you choose to do. I feel like that's an impactful quote. I'm gonna say something along those lines, maybe a little bit more saucier to my daughter, let her know, like, yeah, yo, it can be wild, it can be competitive out here, but if you choose to be in that competitive world, understand that you're choosing to be in that world, and, come on back to, daddy got you, your pappy got you. Okay. And he has another point. So as far as the guys, he kind of like man bashes people. This is an older book. I don't do that. I don't speak to the man like that, because the men that I hang around are like, they help build me up. The men that slide in my DMs and we talking about like what their day was like, and they're like, yeah, nah, last night was just rough, yo. I just needed something, and we chatting. Like, those are the guys. They're not what he's speaking on. So I'm not able to speak that and put that out there for the world. The guys that I know are like, stand up. They the ones that inspire me to be better and bring out the best version of myself. So that's some weird, but moving forward, he does have a nice point right here. We need to listen to our women and follow their lead until we can be whole again inside ourselves as man. And we develop our feminine energy through practices such as Tantra and yoga. That's super hyper critical and important, because how are you going to be an alleged leader if you're not in touch with yourself? If every time you get thrown off guard, your first response is to lash out as opposed to sit back and think and process the situation. How can you have a better outcome as opposed to just respond? Or, nah, I ain't gonna do that. Nothing out of fear, nothing out of scarcity or lack. So that's why I'm doing this. So all y'all, I see y'all out there learning. Send it to a guy if you're a girl talking to someone. Send it to him. We can get this knowledge out here. Everything by donation anyway. All we doing is going up. You on the train? What's up? All right, I'm back. All right. Okay, so he said, Tantra has the answer for aligning the mind of man in the art of sacred sexuality. There needs to be forgiveness from man, for if you recognize the root cause of his violence, you'll see his frustration, and you'll know, and he doesn't know how to channel or manage his sexual energy. It comes out distorted through the warrior within each man. The distinction between a man and a woman is how it manifests. Man naturally has external energy, and his expression sexually is outward into the form of penetration. His sword is his lingam, his penis. And this desire to penetrate, he uses his exterior sword, or now bullet, to penetrate the flesh of another out of the extreme sexual frustration. This may seem far-fetched, but look at the energetic similarities and then tell me if it doesn't fit. Women are able to support and encourage men by giving them the needed instructions, but we as men must listen. Women are naturals at this art of Tantra. They live in their hearts very easily. Men need guidance. These are the different centers we were speaking on. Women live more so in the hearts. Men live more so in the mind. Again, more logical for the male, more emotional for the female. One is based off of the emotional fluctuations, getting used to that. One's most really based off of like the thought processes. What's their day structure and stuff set like? Like that is how we can find logical, because we're coming from one defined point to the next. The other one's like, nah, we out here. Whee! Okay. Women are naturals at this art. They live in their hearts very easily. Men need guidance, since most of the time we live in our heads and confuse love with sex. We immediately go into sex without recognizing it as love we truly want. Being able to move our sexual energy out of the genitals and into the heart is one of the greatest gifts Tantra yoga has to offer men. Yes. When you can radiate from the heart, yo, it is felt. It is felt. It's not heard, it's not seen, it is felt. That's powerful. Women, however, have had much guilt put on them from the beginning. Look at the story of Adam and Eve. The story portrays how Eve entices Adam to eat the apple, causing the human race's expulsion from Eden. Pointing the finger at women is much easier than accepting our responsibility. Yeah, why'd you eat the junk? All right, you wanted to do it. Okay, well then just say you wanted to give it a shot. Yo, don't blame it or throw it on nobody else. The buck stops here. Again, I said it before. What does MJ say? If you want to make the world a better place, take a look in the mirror and make the change. Na 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 na. Anyway, when women truly embrace their femininity, rewind. When women truly embrace their femininity, they are powerful beyond all belief, for they are just one step above men. Yet men look at the softness and passivity as a weakness, when in fact they can be our greatest strength. Look at how water shapes rock along a river or ocean shore. Over time, it even molds them. From an Ayurvedic perspective, men have more cosmic fire or pitta, and women have more water or kapha. This makes men typically more fiery and aggressive. I don't necessarily like to use the word aggressive because of the connotation we have in the English language, but there it is. Women are softer and nurturing and are more similar to kapha. Now we got energy release for men. Ooh, we might get into the Shiva Shakti story, or we might stop at the Shiva Shakti story. Yeah, we're gonna stop at that one, cause then that'll close us out next week. Yeah. Ooh, we lit. Don't mind me. Just going back to the book. Page 226. Energy release for men. Exploring the state of mind you're in when you're entering into sex is of the utmost importance. The more tension-ridden the mind is, the more momentarily the sexual. The more tension-ridden the mind is, the more momentary the sexual intercourse. Facts. That's why you'd be like, relax, chill out, let it go. Like, that's the whole. Or for the ladies, that's the whole whoa, don't do nothing. I got too much tension in my body. I need to let this go before the top blows. Right? Okay. The greater the tension, the quicker the ejaculation, because the tension-filled mind is looking for not to extend pleasure, but to release. You feel dissipated as well. It is a constant cycle of building and releasing, like a sneeze. You are left with a feeling of relief, a momentary glimpse into samadhi-like bliss, and then you slip back into feeling wasted and disillusioned. This creates a dependency, and you chase it again and again like an addict. You must understand your vital energy for life is your vital essence or sexual energy. What's this, No Fap November? Yeah, that's the whole concept. There's options. We'll, any questions, send a DM. I know some other people to recommend that like actually teach the stuff. I don't necessarily go too deep into it unless people ask me one-on-one. So yeah, feel free to book a virtual, private virtual session. They're available also in person right here at UE, Urban Yogic Wellness and Education. Okay, you must understand your vital energy for life is your vital essence or sex energy. To relax is one thing, but to feel dissipated is quite another. Relaxation means, I'm gonna read this and then I'm gonna have to monologue. Relaxation means the energy is within you and you're resting. To feel dissipated means you throw your energy out and lie exhausted. And pause. Here's the pin, because this is where a lot of the issue comes in. And it's not even just correlated to sex. I've seen this a lot in like yoga practices and in the gym. A lot of times in the gym, people go to that point of exhaustion and then they're like, oh my gosh, oh yeah, I got to do all these workouts every day. And then they're beating themselves up and they're not allowing their body to rest. They're not allowing those small micro muscles to actually connect between the knee, connect between the elbow, so the muscles are more efficiently being used as opposed to the breakages in energy. So like half of the bicep is active and some of the forearm is active. You're not going to get that much strength if you're trying to press, right? So it's the same concept. And I've realized that this comes out a lot because when people go to a yoga class, we can do the lightest flow, but whatever tension you feel at the end, if someone's truly exhausted, they knocked out. Boom. Sleep in Savasana. Knocked out. Snoring, maybe drooling. All these good things. All these healing things, right? And that's how I know that they're depleted. They're dissipated. That for real, they do need rest. Maybe light movement. Maybe it's walking for like a week, 2 weeks. Fuck. as opposed to going to the gym, going hard, or whatever it is they do. I know runners, rowers, people running like 8 to 13 miles a day in the morning and at night. Yo, I'm just saying. Okay. So we want to find the difference between depletion and relaxation. Huge difference and a powerful differentiation. Relaxation means the energy is within and you are resting. To feel depleted means you throw your energy out and lie exhausted. You are weakened with the loss of energy, yet thinking you are relaxed. This often happens to Vata and Pitta people when they exercise to the point of exhaustion. We touch this energy for a moment, ordinary ejaculation, and then we feel cheated afterwards. We have one of the most potent tools in orgasm without ejaculating, yet we don't know how to use it. I'm going to read that again. We have one of the most potent tools in orgasm without ejaculating, yet we don't know how to use it. Well, last time. We have the most important tools in orgasm without ejaculating, yet we don't know how to use it. It is like giving the secret behind the atomic energy to a child. He has no idea how to apply it, and what we have in our hands is the most valuable and powerful source of energy, yet we've never gotten it off the ground. Cultivating potent energy. This energy we cultivate through our spiritual practices is similar to a rocket launching. It's the same kind of energy we need to create change of consciousness in the body and mind. Have you ever watched TV or a movie on a rocket ship taking off? Initially, it consumes a lot of fuel or power to get the rocket off of the ground and into space. And once it's off of Earth's gravitational field, it becomes lighter. Less fuel is needed once it's free from the pull. Similarly, our journey in and up requires everything we have to penetrate and lift us free of the pull of our mind that our mind has to the world, especially in sex. Tantra is about accumulating energy to ascend. By building through your sexual energy and lifting it higher. From the very beginning, there can be a sacred experience of sex, which rises the energy up. In celebration, there's that word again, and playfulness. Energy is lifted upward. In condemnation or repression, it's spun downward. In all the texts of yoga, Ayurveda, and Tantra, they say it takes a tremendous amount of energy to ascend. So that's why if you squander it all on petty things, there's no juice for getting off the ground. See the correlation to the rocket, right? So this is the importance of not only Mula Bandha, sealing it in, but also lifting that energy up, Uddiyana Bandha, the flying one, which literally means flying upward. And those are where we combine the yin and yang energies in the body, and then those start to swirl. Then we can utilize those for different tools and processes. All right, throwing away your wealth. Nah. Oh, it's Osho. I'll read it. It's my guy. I'll read it. Early one morning. That's not how he talks. It might be a little bit. We'll see. Early one morning, before sunrise, a fisherman arrived at a river on the bank and stumbled across something on the ground and noticed it had to be a small stack of stones. He picked up the bag and put his net aside and sat down on the bank to await the sunrise. He was waiting for dawn to break in order to start his day's work. Lazily, he picked up one stone at a time from out of the bag and threw it into the quiet river. Then he cast another stone and then another. He enjoyed the splashing sounds and the silence of the early morning, so he kept tossing one stone into the water, one by one. Slowly the sun rose and it grew light. By that time, he had thrown all the stones away except one. The last stone lay in his palm, and when he saw in the daylight what he held in his hand, his heart almost stopped. He was breathless. It was a diamond. He had thrown a whole sack of them away. This was the last piece in his hand. He shouted and he cried. He accidentally stumbled upon so much wealth that his life would have been enriched many times over, but in the darkness, unknowingly, he had thrown it all away. In a way, this fisherman was fortunate to still have a diamond left. The light had dawned before he had thrown the last diamond. Some people are not even that fortunate. Their whole life passes, and the sun never rises, and the morning never comes in their lives. And this is what we do with our life when we don't catch ourselves. We throw away our energy in so many different ways and directions. This is why our sexual energy is so precious. It is the diamonds that we're throwing into the river of life. Even before knowing what life is, we have discarded it. Life is dissipated without ever experiencing what was hidden in it. What secret, what paradise, what bliss, what liberation. So he be dropping bars. So just with that, just think about some of the comparisons when we gonna drop the Book of Secrets with the meditations with like how you talking about consciousness and elevating the consciousness and the simple correlations. I got you. All right. Sex is our most vital energy, our only energy. We're created out of it. Your father's sperm and your mother's egg merged and then multiplied until you became a fetus, continuing to grow from the original sex seeds. We must not fight it. Go with it totally, and then it is possible to go beyond it. Yes. We were all little supercomputers in our daddy's balls. And then our mom said, "Oh, let me nurture you and give you this material from this world. We'll call it the body." I feel like the Lion King or something. Just anyway. The whole method in your lovemaking is to be there with all your awareness. The pleasure available is above and beyond any other experience if we go within. Relax your breathing. Whatsoever is happening in your body, in your mind, and feel the new circuit you create with your partner. Your bodies together in the feeling of electricity. Now slowly bring your awareness to the Mula Bandha, the source, the stimulating energy that's there to rise up to the third eye. As I discussed in the section on Ashtanga Yoga, the more awareness you have on the third eye, the deeper the lovemaking. Go within and stay with this energy with your full awareness. There will be a moment where you disappear, and for the first time you'll realize the attraction is not for intercourse, but for the superconsciousness. If you have ever been in a glimpse, lightning flash, it'll illuminate the darkness, and then you can easily proceed on the path. When this has happened, you have transcended the sexual experience. It doesn't mean that you will never have sex again, but you'll see it for what it truly is. You have used the intensity of this experience to go beyond. Once your energy is transformed, nature and God meet in you. A meeting of the body and soul, a union of heaven and earth. Whatever you do out of this kind of awareness will be a creative act, for you are then naturally artistic in all of your living. Only when you have mastered the inner intercourse of merging your own male and female energies, you are then able to go beyond the physical connection outside. This can be cultivated in yourself through your Ashtanga practice, inside out, ground up. Then it's the sacred beautiful dance of merging with your beloved and can be heavenly. And it is only through this reconnection of our vital energy, our ojas, tejas, and prana, those different fluids that we create from those different minerals. You can check back on that episode. It's uploaded. Using this to go higher, there will be any chance, if there will be any chance for ascension. Ooh. All right. We're going to read this. Last one, pineal gland and magnetism. Next week, we're going to finish the book, Shiva Shakti story, breathing techniques for tantric practices, and we got some tantric and sacred sex. That's next week. Yeah, that's next week. That's it. So yeah, we got like 3 more pages. Almost rocking out. Oh, I know, it's so sad. I'll be back next week. I'll be back Thursday and next week. So come on, bring it for both. Okay. Pineal gland and magnetism. Excuse me. Page 230 from The Only Way Out Is In. Many people have no idea what the pineal gland is at all. In Tantra and Yoga, it is said that this gland has the magnetic quality to it. When you close your eyes, it brings your awareness to the third eye. The pineal gland is activated. It makes it easy to go inwards and upwards in meditation because it creates such a high charge. It is also said that the head is considered north and the feet south. The back of your body is west and the east is front. I'm going to make a big jump here. North being the most magnetically charged direction on Earth, similar to the pineal gland in the head, is the most magnetically charged area of the body. Being the yoga researcher that I am, my hypothesis is that when you place your attention on the third eye, your energy immediately goes to this gland. It works like a compass when you move it around. The needle is always pointing north. Or, here's another one. When you use two magnets, there's a positive and a negative pole on them. They are attracted to each other. So when you get one close in proximity to the other, they collide together and the magnet attracts for charge. I can take one or more giant leap and say that male and female attraction is because of this magnetism. The lingam is magnetically drawn to be inside of the yoni from this pull. I support these thoughts. This is after the deepest physical connection we can have with each other. So of course it has to be a tremendous power and appeal. When you sit down and meditate for the first time, depending on how civilized you are, it may be quite a challenge to sit and be with yourself. The more civilized, the more challenging. Trust me. All of your energy has most likely gone out into the world, so it might drive you crazy to sit and watch your mind. Since the body isn't moving anymore, all your energy goes to what is happening in the mind. And this is why modern society can't sit still. Their energy is constantly drawn out, so to sit still is torturous. Trying to experiment for 5 minutes, sit with a pen and piece of paper and write all the thoughts you have to come to your mind. You might want to quickly throw it away before someone else finds it, as they might commit you to an insane asylum. Yeah, these are facts. But you learn a hell of a lot about yourself. Whoo! We're all a bit crazy, that part. Some more than others, that part. We are barely maintaining, and thank goodness for pharmaceutical medications, alcohols, recreational drugs such as marijuana. Thank God for cannabis. I don't call it marijuana. They created that name to fuck us up. Thank God for cannabis. Otherwise, the mental health institutes and jails would be even more flooded with wild, insane people. Insanity, by the way, means doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Freud spoke of how his mode of psychotherapy could never cure people since it was impossible to cure them. He could never make them function as a normal member of society, but with his understanding of the human mind, it was not possible to do anything else. Jung, however, took Freud's work to the next level by exploring consciousness beyond the mind. There is so much pent-up energy waiting to be released, yet our only outlet is to divert it. Instead, the solution relies on transforming it. Otherwise, it returns again and again and again. Please hear me now. I am not condoning the use of drugs. Cannabis, shrooms. Do what you do. And it's legal. Decriminalized in DC. So, it is what it is. Shrooms. I am saying that with the state of our mental health, most people in the civilized world, these are modern day distractions and buffers at best, not solutions. Meditation is your best medicine. Yes, some shrooms and meditate, weed and meditate. It makes things better when you're sitting with the shit that you don't want to deal with. Come on now, we know this. Let's see. Damn it, he's playing some more Osho. I gotta read it. Take hold of your own life. See that the whole existence is celebrating. These trees are not serious. These birds are not serious. These rivers and oceans are wild, and everything there is fun. Everywhere there is joy and delight. Watch existence, listen to the existence, and become part of it. Then you become a lover, because love can exist only with the deep respect for fun, with the deep respect for delight. Love cannot exist with a serious mind. With a serious mind, logic is in tune. Be non-serious. I'm not saying not to be sincere. Be sincere, but be non-serious. Sincerity is something else. Seriousness is is totally different. Be sincere with existence, and then you will be true. You will be part of this cosmic Layla, this cosmic play. I told you, Osho just be dropping bars for me. So you already know where we going with when we dropping gems on like relationships, love. Not just sexual relationships, romantic relationships. Because every interaction you have with another person is a different relationship. And it's what we invite into those relationships that really help us to cultivate those impactful friendships and those impactful bonds that carry us through life. Because what is life outside of health, relationships, and now kind of wealth? Because we need money to survive because they try to make it so we... Anyway, you picking up what I'm putting down. All right. The pineal gland and the third eye. In yoga, Ayurveda, and Tantra, they speak about the connection of the pineal gland to the third eye, but not much is known about it in Western science. I went to this amazing exhibit in New York City, Bodies, the exhibition. It was one of the most amazing displays of the human body had ever exhibited on the planet. I walked through this gallery of bodies laid out in athletic positions doing various things. They were naked men and women, and embalmed in unimaginable ways. They were quartered, split down the center, opened, and dissected. It took me 4 hours to see the experience with all the many bodies in numerous rooms. There were rooms in the circulatory system, the nervous system, the digestive system, etc. I mention all this because when I left, I was in complete and utter awe with the miracle of the human form. Nothing could have even come close to this experience by looking in the book or going to a lecture, a movie about it, or even a medical shoot lab of cadavers. This was the presence of the most divine creation. All I can say is wow. There was nothing in the exhibit about the pineal gland. I thought that was strange and asked one of my curators what it does and what's going on with it. He said it's the master endocrine gland. But what does that mean? It's a tiny little gland about the size of a pea. It shrank. It was larger. And it sits right in the center of the brain in the tiny cavity, behind and above the pituitary gland, which lies a little beyond the root of the nose. One of the reasons that we breathe through the nose instead of the mouth in yoga is to stimulate this gland. It lies directly behind the eyes, attached to the third ventricle, which is connected to the spinal cord and the cerebrospinal fluid. This is a mysterious gland in that science can't figure out what it does. Rather, it has some relationship with light and darkness and the secretion of hormones of melatonin, which regulates sleep and wakefulness. That regulate sleep and wakefulness. I'm gonna just let that pause for a moment. Just for a spell. Could it be like waking up to reality? Could it be like waking up to your body? Could it be like waking up to this 3D, 4D world? What could this waking up be? Perplexed. All right, where are we at on here? I'll mention a few other facts about the pineal gland that are interesting for yoga enthusiasts. Here we go. From the time of your birth, it is roughly the age 13. Your brain produces large quantities of DMT, dimethyltryptamine, a psychoactive chemical that also comes from around the planet called ayahuasca or sirenru. This is used in ceremonies originally in South America, shamanic rituals. In other words, children under the age of 13 are basically tripping all day. It makes sense, right? That's why they not locked in this reality. Them motherfuckers in a whole nother world, yo. Have you sat and talked to a kid and had to pull this kid to your conversation? Where are they? Not in their body. That's the point. That's what we talking about. Coming back to the center, last Thursday's meditation. Go rock with it. Okay. So they got all this DMT. Some psychologists have linked this to what we term childish behavior, playing, laughing, or even having visions of other less scientific phenomena. After the age of 13, the pineal gland begins to calcify and the production of DMT comes nearly to a halt, although the gland still produces other indole alkaloid compounds. The human brain produces many other indole alkaloids that you may have heard of, which include, but are not certainly limited to, LSD, psilocybin, mescaline, etc. All of these are chemicals found in nature, and all of these sources have the least one culture cultivating them and using them for religious purposes. Every single culture in the world has some reference to these chemicals and attribute them to some form of divinity. Why am I making such a big deal of this? It's really that the practice of yoga and tantra done correctly will bring you to the naturally occurring feeling of using these drugs. I support those thoughts. Get balanced. Doesn't mean you won't want the weed in the shrooms, but it's here for you. Why use them if you can access it on your own for free? See, I support these thoughts. Breath work helped me get high as a kite. I didn't know I didn't need to smoke. I was like, nah, you just like this action. That's real life shit. Without any side effects? What? This is what needs to be on TV to get kids off drugs. Now teach them how to get high on whatever they teach them how to get high whenever they want. Off of the breath, the prana. Breathing in that good ass prana, baby. Yeah. If you know who that is, put it in the chat. I'm gonna send you something. But there's a limited time because this is up forever. If you know who that is, send me a DM, send me an email. I'm gonna send you a hoodie. Breathing in that good ass prana, baby. Yeah. I'll send you one of these. Boom. Do you care enough about your mental space to meditate today, or are you bullshitting on your greatness? What you doing? What you doing? Huh? And it's a little glow in the dark jump. Shing, shing, shing. It got all that happening. Be gone. All right. I'll be having fun. I don't care. It's interesting to note that the pineal gland, when dissected, has a crystalline center, and as I said, is highly magnetized. It's like a computer chip in your brain. Also, an image of the pineal gland to be a miniature broadcasting and receiving station. I'm gonna say that one again. I also imagine that the pineal gland to be a miniature broadcasting and receiving station. It's your own satellite network in the universal matrix of telecommunications. You use it by focusing your awareness at the third eye, projecting or receiving whatever message you want into the ethers. The more present you are, the higher your chances of sending and receiving a clear signal. This is how we plug into the intergalactic web called the internet. Right? It was kind of corny, but it worked. It worked. I get it. I do all the time with people I love and I'm connected to. I start by feeling an image of the person in my heart, and then I project whatever message I want to send to them to my third eye center. I recommend giving that a shot. I recommend giving it a shot because the synchronicities for me have just been aligned in such a way. Oh my gosh, like beautiful. I literally, like I said, think of someone or something, and then the opportunity would present itself, or the person will present itself with an opportunity, or like, yo, the universe works in mysterious ways. They said, God, call it who you want. Be looking out for, brother. Anyway, that's the end of Tantra. We have about 3 more sections for next week. We're going to finish out the book. So the following week, we should be able to start the Osho jump. I got some fun stuff lined up for us, some meditations to go with it. Yeah, I'm just excited. With that being said, I'd like to thank Yogi, Urban Yogic Wellness and Education, Surreal Audio Solutions, No Commercials International, In Crowd, A Quest for Knowledge. We out here in DC. We doing things. Support black businesses, support black people, and the ones that are doing shit. What else is there? There's like 2 other things I wanted to mention. Oh, yes, Sunday. Sunday with Tumblr. We have the Sunday Self-Care Sunday. We'll be doing some breath work. We'll be talking about some of the things that we mentioned in here about the different nostrils, the Ida, the Pingala. We're going to talk about balancing nervous system, the sympathetic, the parasympathetic. We're going to talk about the autonomic nervous system, but I'm going to break it down and make it simple. Short, simple, and to the sweet, and to the point. Outside of that, check in on the daily meditation, daily meditation accountability group. Go on and vote. Do you care enough about your mental space to meditate today, or are you bullshitting on your greatness? What are you doing? And again, if you know what that link, what that phrase is, who it was, send me a DM, and I'm gonna send you some shits. Peace and love, kings, queens, and gods.